Hello and welcome to my cloud portfolio. Now let me ask you a very simple question. If you are an administrator in a very big IT company which uses Microsoft Azure and AWS Cloud, and how will you give your users ability to sign into the AWS console, use AWS CLI, plus some of the auditors who have nothing to do with AWS, they are just interested in using the CloudWatch dashboards. What you'll do? A very simple answer is you will create IAM users or IAM rules for them. What if I tell you you can use your Azure Active Directory user credentials, that means their username and password, to sign into AWS console as well. And the best part, that you can do it for free. So the agenda for this project is auto sign into AWS from Azure, where it has two parts. The very first part is it actually creates two applications. The very first application helps you, actually your users, to sign into AWS Management Console and use AWS CLI, and the second one is for auditors, where your auditors can watch your AWS CloudWatch dashboards, and of course the best part, your users whom you are assigning access to the AWS do not need to have any AWS account. Now for this, let me see how. So as part of the walkthrough, let me firstly quickly show you my Azure portal. So this is my Azure portal. I am logged into my Azure portal. As you can see in my portal, Azure portal, this is my default directory, and these are my users. Now I have configured that only users who are having IT department can log into Azure. Can log into AWS. Now for example, let me show you, let me add a filter for IT department so that I can show you the name of the users who belongs to IT. Like out of my many users, these many users are from IT departments. So let me pick the very first user, Ananya Ojha. So this is my user, and as you can see, this user belongs to IT department. Now what I will doing is, because I am an administrator, I have access to AWS console. What I'll do, I'll give Ananya Ojha, who is a user of defined directory, a URL, and by using that URL, Ananya Ojha can log in to AWS, or if I have given permissions, he can start spinning up EC2 instances. He can use AWS CLI. So whatever roles I want to give, I can attach that to a particular user. Like for example, this is the user portal in my SSO console. This is my AWS single sign-on dashboard. In that, what I'll do, I'll copy this URL, open in private window, paste it. Now as we know that the username which you use to log into your Azure can be used with AWS SSO also. So let me show you that. Like the username with which I log into Azure portal is this. Let me provide a password. So now it will be logging into my AWS SSO. As you can see, I am logged in. This was the URL provided by AWS. So as an administrator, what I'll do, I'll simply share this particular URL, ananya.awsapps.com. Then as you can see, this is a single sign-on, and I have two applications. The very first application is my AWS account. Second one is my first dashboard, and as you can see, it is powered by AWS. Now for demo purposes, let me show you that if I am an auditor, I do not need access to AWS account, but I need to watch the CloudWatch matrices, like how is my CPU percentage of EC2 instances, what is the number of requests coming in. So I'll simply click on that first dashboard, as you can see. Then I click on this, I need not to provide any login credentials. It will be automatically logging me in, and this is known as single sign-on. And I am leveraging the power only. So I'll have read-only access in this, and I'll also show you that no AWS account is needed. Simply a dashboard will come where I can see the graphs. So as you can see, because my right now my dashboard is very simple, it only have two graphs as you can see of now, but I can have multiple graphs also, and I can customize it as what I want. Like for example, I want to see it in this one in detail. So as you can see, I am an auditor. I do not need access to your CLI, consoles or anything else. I can simply watch it that okay, this is how my instance is doing. This is the volumes as you can see, and I'm happy. And you also know the principle of IAM, trust no one, principle of least privilege. So it helps me that as an auditor I can also see my Azure account as well as my AWS account, AWS dashboards as well. Now the second one, which is my if I want, for example, if I want to log in to my AWS console, how can I do that? Very simple. I'll provide this particular URL, click on the first one, click on the name. As you can see, it is asking me if I want to log into Management Console or I want programmatic access, I want to log into the command line. As we know, the command line needs access keys, so it is providing me the access keys as you can see for all of the platforms, whether I am on Mac OS or Linux, Windows, or I want PowerShell. Like for example, if I don't need this, I want to log into the console, simply click on Management Console. Now it is signing me in, and AWS will automatically create an account for it. I need not to go to AWS IAM, I need not to create anything else. AWS single sign-on along with other things will keep me synchronized. As you can see, the username here is my application name, which is Azure SSO in this case, and this is my login name as you can see. And you may have also guessed that as you can see, the just below it AWS reserved SSO underscore Azure SSO, so and some code. So as you may have guessed by now that this is auto created by AWS. Now this was a very simple walkthrough. Now let me show you the architecture diagram for this. So if you want to see the architecture diagram and want to understand that how actually things are working, so let me show you the architecture diagram. Maybe it is not opening straight away. Yeah, now it is opening. So this is the architecture diagram for this. So my Azure AD users, only the users who work in IT department, have to enter the shared URL in their browser. Then they have to provide the login credentials, the same login credentials that they use to log into Azure portal. Like for example, of my Azure account, I can provide the same login credential that I used to log into Azure. Then as you can see, there are two applications appear. The very first is your AWS application, which helps you to get access of your AWS CLI and Management Console. And if you ask me that what permissions people will be having by logging into it, so let me show you the what permissions will be having. In case of permissions, what you have to do is, as an administrator, I have to log. As you can see, this is my administrator account. This is my AWS administrator account. Now I went to single sign-on. After that, I can go to permission sets, and right now I have provided administrator access to the persons who are able to log into the AWS Management Console. It is taking some time to load up. Let us wait for it. So as you can see, this particular application, which was name is Azure SSO. Now let me show you. So as you can see, they are having administrator access. So the people who will be signing in to my SSO application will be having administrator access. I can also attach other policies as well as per my wish. Like I can give reader access, I can give any other access. So it's on my wish, that on my needs, that as an administrator what kind of permissions to which users I want. Now as part of users, let me also show you. So these are the users who work in IT department in my Azure portal. Let me show you the users in my AWS SSO portal. So I am in my AWS console. Getting into users, as you can see, these are the same number of users. So this was the account with which I showed the demo, Ananya Oja synergetics.india.com. So as you can see, various familiar login one as well. So this is my directory name, Ananya on Microsoft.com. So all these work in IT department, and as you can see, these all are created by using SCIM, right? So I hope you understood that how things are working. Now getting back to the architecture diagram. So if for simplicity, because it is just a simple POC, I have given some of the users access to AWS and some of the users access to the second application, First Dash, and my Ananya Oja Synergetics account access to both of the applications. So Ananya Oja can log into AWS Console and CLI, as well as you can also see the dashboards and how the things are working. As you can see that users who belong to Azure Active Directory through SAML, which is security assertion markup language, logging to AWS SSO, which has an IAM role attached, and because of that I will be able to log into my AWS account. Now for simplicity, I only have option of one single AWS account. In case I am a very big enterprise, I have multiple AWS accounts, what I can do is I can establish AWS organizations with AWS SSO, and then I can give them access to multiple AWS accounts. As part of my dashboard, because auditors, the people who want to just see the dashboard, do not need any programmatic access or any other access, as part of single sign-on, they'll be getting only read-only access, and they can then see the CloudWatch matrices. So this was a very simple architecture diagram, and the best part, again, as I said, that this project is free of cost, and they uses Azure, security assertion markup language and SCIM for auto user creation and deletion. Like if you ask me what happens if I create a new user in IT department, so that new user in IT department, because it uses dynamic groups, it will be automatically assigned that AWS SSO application. Like for example, if I say that this is a YouTube demo, now let me provide it a name as YouTube. Okay, it is YouTube demo. Let me create a password. Okay, now job title is maybe he is an engineer, and the department needs to be IT. So the company name and all things can be left for now. Let me quickly create it. Now it depends upon SAML. Sometimes it is provisioned right away in AWS side also. Sometimes it takes up to half an hour to 1 minute to 1 hour to get provision. Like as you can see, this is my newly created user, YouTube. Now let me check if this user is populated in AWS side. So Just a minute, it is loading. No, it is not loaded. Now it depends. Maybe it will take 5 minutes, maybe it take half an hour, but eventually automatically it will be created and it will be automatically deleted as well. So this is the power of SAML. Now after we have a walkthrough, let us understand that what business problem it solves. So suppose there is a very large enterprise which uses both Azure and AWS. So as you saw just now that it is easy to use. You can create users in Azure Active Directory and user will be able to log into AWS SSO portal using their Azure AD login credentials, their username and password. If you have enabled multi-factor authentication, then you can use multi-factor authentication. If you want your users to have conditional access, like if they are accessing from India region, if they are accessing, then only permit them to sign in. Any other foreign locations other than India like Pakistan, USA, the sign in attempt should be blocked. Then you can also create that. Less management overhead. As you can see, any users deleted from your IT department in your default directory in Azure will automatically reflect in AWS SSO also. No human intervention needed. And of course, AWS account that user want will be auto created and you have full control. So the users which have access, you can select their which permissions they have. Do they have administrator access in AWS? Do they have reader access? Whatever access you want, you can attach that. And as you know, trust no one. You can even not give AWS sign in access to auditors. Just give them read and only access to CloudWatch. And it is of course future ready. You can integrate your on-premises Active Directory, your G Suite, OneLogin, and even other SaaS applications like Atlassian or Darwin Box, something like that, with AWS SSO and Azure Active Directory. Now if you ask me that what is the cost, so it is totally free because AWS SSO is free to use. Azure Active Directory, as you saw just now, free tier also works with this particular project. Now CloudWatch is under free tier limit, but it will, for one dashboard you will be cost in North Virginia region, it will be costing you $0.3 per month. And EC2 instances is based on your usage. So that's all for the demo, and thank you so much. Now if you need an step-by-step tutorial for this, please comment below, and also if you have any queries or suggestion, you can comment below in the so that I can get to know that, and I'll be more than happy to publish a step-by-step tutorial for this particular project. You can also connect me on LinkedIn. Just type my name, and you can visit my profile, or you can also visit my website. Thank you so much for joining it. I hope you liked it.